Hi everyone, so today I'm here to talk to you a little bit about keeping your baby cool on hot nights. Now it's important to keep your baby cool on hot nights for a couple of reasons. Number one being their safety, and number two wanting to get a good night's sleep for everyone. Obviously if your baby sleeps well and they're cool and they're at a good temperature, they're going to sleep much better, therefore you sleep much better, so that's our goal here today. Just want to talk through a couple of suggestions on how to keep your baby cool during the night time. Here are a few simple suggestions on ways to keep your baby cool and ways to make sure that you are keeping a nice temperature in the nursery or the sleep space that your baby is going to be sleeping in. So number one, you want to be considering making sure you're closing the blinds during the day if it is a hot day outside, just to keep the room at a good temperature for your little one before they do go to sleep, and possibly keeping a window open to allow a little bit of draft as well or some breeze to come in. And then another thing you want to consider is making sure that you keep hydrated throughout the day. You could also consider having a muslin face washer or some sort of nice cool face washer handy to keep your baby cool, and attempt to use that either during the night when they are feeling a bit warm or before they go to bed, just dampening the back of the neck and so forth, and just making sure that you're keeping your baby comfortable. So something like a wet damp muslin face washer, we have some here. We actually sell a 2-pack muslin face washer pack, and they're great because they dry super quick, and they're going to be great for wetting and wiping the baby's face, and it's nice and soft rather than an abrasive normal toweling face washer, so that's a great idea. Another tip is to potentially, when you are feeding your baby, whether it be breastfed or bottle fed and the baby is quite young, to not have too much snuggly time. Try to keep them as cool and comfortable as you can during that period so they don't get all sticky and clammy and uncomfortable and unsettled. That can be another really great tip, to try to make sure your baby is in cotton layers and natural fibres when you are feeding, and making sure they're just at a comfortable temperature. So it's a very hot day, maybe just a nappy and a singlet. We have our beautiful singlets here, just the basic ribbed singlet that is designed as an underwear garment that would be great to wear at night, maybe with the clips, or you could wear a traditional singlet that just comes to sort of the waist, and then you're going to get some good airflow through there. Sometimes it can be a great idea to have a lukewarm bath before bed as well, or before you put your little one down for a nap. So having a nice lukewarm bath or something of that sort, or a sponge bath to really cool the whole body temperature down, can also be a great idea. So of course, as we mentioned just before, when you are going to be sleeping your baby as well with the dressing component, you want to be thinking about potentially just having a nappy and then a singlet on those really hot nights. Or if the baby or the child is a bit older, like a toddler, you might just want to have a t-shirt or a singlet and some little baby shorts on. Or you might potentially, if they do like to have something on them and they're no longer being swaddled, because if you were going to swaddle, you'd probably swaddle in a muslin swaddle. So we have one here, and the muslin is very, very lightweight and breathable. So this is most ideal for those really hot nights. As you can see there, it's quite see-through, very lightweight, very breathable. So if you do want to swaddle your baby on a hot night, you might just put on a nappy, then one of our ribbed basic singlets, a bodysuit singlet or traditional singlet, and then use a muslin on top of that. So you may also want to consider on those nights when your baby doesn't want to be swaddled, or the baby has grown out of being swaddled, if you want to go into a sleeping bag, you could potentially go into a sleeping bag that is a 0.5 tog, nice and lightweight. And this one is ideal. This one is from newborn up to 6 months. This has adjustable press studs underneath the arm. So as the child grows, you can undo those press studs and make it bigger around their arm. And this has a dual zip, so you can zip from the top to undress the baby completely, or just zip from the bottom to just change the nappy middle of the night. And these are great because it just helps you sleep. I know myself, when you're sleeping at night or even during the day, sometimes it's hard to get to sleep if you don't have anything on top of you. So having just a really nice lightweight sleeping bag can be a really great tool for sleep, and can be a great cue for sleep time, as was swaddling. Now you might go into a sleeping bag, so having something that is really nice and lightweight, just as that layer on top of your little one when they're sleeping, can be a great idea. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, natural fibres are really important. As you know, all of our product here at Purebaby is 100% organic cotton. So you're going to be really safe and secure knowing that your little one is going to be able to regulate the temperature more easily on a hot night if they're wearing a natural fibre, because the sweat can be absorbed into the fibre rather than sitting between the skin and the fibre and getting that chill on the baby. And it just helps them regulate the temperature much more easily, being a natural fibres. So layering up is really important as well. But obviously Obviously in summer you might want to put less layers and more thin layers. As we mentioned, a nice basic singlet and then maybe a muslin on a very hot night is a great idea. You also might want to consider potentially opening the windows and having some airflow during the evening even, depending on your temperature outside obviously. And you could potentially have a fan or some sort of circular fan in the room or in the sleep space, just as long as it's not pointing directly onto the baby or into their cot. You want to make sure that you've got plenty of airflow on those really, really warm nights so that you can have a more temperate temperature in your sleep space for your little one or the room that they're in. So it is really important to make sure you've got good airflow. Generally speaking, the most ideal temperature for a child's room is between 18 to 20 degrees. So that is what we're aiming for here. Obviously, if you can't get it down that low or it's a bit warmer, or even lower, depending on, you'll just need to add or subtract layers for your little one to make sure they're more comfortable. But you are looking to have a room temperature from between 18 to 20 degrees generally. As you can see here, I have this little baby all swaddled up and in bed. So I have a very light muslin wrap or swaddle on this little bub, and then I have just cotton sheets, organic cotton sheets that are tucked in nice and firmly around the little one, and then we have a top sheet on top. You wouldn't necessarily have to have the top sheet. You could potentially just have the baby swaddled and put in the sleep space. But if you do want to use something over the top, either use another muslin as a makeshift sheet or a basic sheet that comes with our cot sheet sets here at Purebaby. And again, just making sure they're natural fibres, they're clean, and you don't have too many layers on your little one. If you're unsure about the temperature of the baby, you can always check the back of the neck or down on the chest or tummy with the back of your hand just to check the baby's temperature. You can of course use a thermometer, but often hand feel is enough, and you'll get to work out quite quickly whether your baby's too hot or too cold. And if you're looking for signs of hot or distress, you're typically looking for flushed cheeks and sweat and that sort of thing. And if they're cold, they're cold. So you'll probably find quite quickly whether your baby is comfortable or not. And of course, in alignment with SIDS, we always make sure the bedding is tucked in firmly around the baby and there's no loose bits of bedding or anything else in the cot or in the sleep space. So no bumpers, pillows, toys or sheepskins. It's a nice firm flat surface that is clean and free of any clutter, and make sure everything's tucked in so nothing can come up over the baby's face and smother them. So this is a perfect, ideal cot situation here we have laid out for you. You can of course choose to use a Moses basket, bassinet or cradle. We have one made up here for you, and as you can see, you've got the sheet made up down the bottom so that the baby can't wriggle underneath the covers, and you've got just a sheet and a top sheet and a bottom sheet there to make sure the baby is quite comfortable but not too overheated. Nothing else in the sleep space. So there you have it. There's a few tips on keeping your baby cool during the hotter nights. So I hope this has been useful and helpful, and have a wonderful day everyone. Thank you very much.